Hello YouTubers, how you doing? Now I remember doing Bruce Lee before with the imitation of Bruce Lee, that being Fist of Fury 2. I remember saying it's not a good film, but I also said that Bruce Lee is not the problem. And I also said that there was a good film he did called The Man and the Myth in '76, The Man and the Myth. And I've got to admit, this is a good one. This is a good one. Now I could find it, because I had him before, and I have found it. This is the bit where I can pull this one out, because this is basically like a true story of Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is practically playing Bruce Lee. It's basically like a biography, a true story, and a film rolled into one. What do I mean by that? It's basically about how Bruce Lee got to be on the top, how he got to be in his movie career, and how he got in his acting career, and his martial art history, as well as his death, and so on. Right, so it starts off, it shows him, starting out in martial arts and martial arts schools and so on, right? There's little bits in here I don't buy it happened. It was just to hype the film up, where he had issues with the Japanese, making out that Kung Fu is better than Karate. I never bought that, but, it was a film and it was a film. And he's starting out with his cheats, or the one who taught him martial arts. And there's an interesting bit in it where it's got what they call the wooden man. And what the wooden man was, and it was used in a lot of biographies, by the way, was a big wooden pole. It had two things that looked like arms, and you'd hit it. A bit like a punch bag, but it more as he teach you how to dodge your moves and how to use your fists. And I believe Bruce Lee used that a lot when he was doing his martial arts, as well as other stuff. And it's showing him doing that, and then it's showing him down here, do his acting career, as well as the well-known TV series he did, was sort of like a spin-off of Batman. That being the Gene Hornet, shows that. Also shows him when he was starting out, he went to college, he worked his way up to university, and now he met his wife, Sion Lee, and it tells the story of that. But there's little bits here and there where you've got people wanting to fight him, wanting to kick the shit out of him and have a fight with him. It's basically just an excuse for Bruce Lee imitating my man to get into a fight. It's just an excuse to see him get into a fight, kick ass, and do what he does best. Do what he does best, basically, and that is kick ass. So I don't mind it what it is. I don't mind it. It's a bit of harmless fun. It's a bit of an excuse to see Bruce Lee kick ass, and that's why I like it. I like the film. It's a good one. So yeah, there's bits here and there where he shows him doing his weightlifting, he's doing exercises, and there's bits where he's having a headache. And I think that's just trying to find excuses of how he lost his life. That's all it was. But I do like the bits where it shows him when he's doing his rehearsing in the Big Boss, and he's doing scenes when he's doing a scene from Enter the Dragon, and someone says, "Oh, he can't fight. He's all chalk," and he gets into a fight. And I do admit that Bruce Lee really, really does look like Bruce Lee. It's surprising how much he looks like Bruce Lee. So I thought it was like good and it was fitting. The only bits here and there I don't like that. When it first opens up, it shows you, when he died and they found him on the bed and they took him to Victoria Hospital, which you can find out in any biography. I thought that was kind of poor taste. It's poor taste. We really needed to solve that. You know what I mean? We've seen the biography and all that. We know how he died now. So I thought that was sort of poor taste in the film. But the rest of it, I didn't really mind. I didn't mind. I like the bits. There's one bit in it, right, where they want to fight with him. And you've got this one guy, he's a road worker, and he's giving Bruce some shit. And I thought, I've seen him before. He was in Way of the Dragon with the real Bruce Lee. The real Bruce. Which I kind of like it, because Bruce kicked his ass and Bruce Lee kicks his ass. So he gets his ass kicked by the real Bruce Lee, and he also gets his ass kicked by Bruce Lee. There's a bit in it where he does get run over, and there's a bit where they have like an Olympic pace. Where all the people do the running in Olympic paces. He has a good fight scene there. Most of it's just an excuse really to see him show off his stuff, show off his fight. But I give Bruce Lee something. He's pretty good at the fight scenes. He's pretty good at angering himself, and he definitely does a good performance of imitating Bruce Lee. So you can definitely see why they had him a lot in a lot of these imitation films. There's a lot of films where they had a lot of people imitating Bruce. When he died, there was a lot of Bruce Lee performations films. Like I remember saying that with Dame of Death. And there was. But I can see why they had Bruce Lee do a lot. And I do remember the original No Retreat, No Surrender. There's a scene in it where this lad wants a dose of Bruce Lee. He got a dose of Bruce Lee, who changed this lad martial arts. The actor himself was no further than Bruce Lee himself, because he had so much of a look of Bruce Lee. They thought, yeah, we'll have you in it. We'll have you to imitate the ghost of Bruce Lee. So I like it. There's a bits in it again. He's playing a bit of music, and I'm thinking I've heard that music before. It's on a record. That's what it is, people. That's what it is. It's only Blood and Live and Let Die. He's listening to a scene on a music. I'm not picking this shit up. It's just a bit of music, not the actual theme tune by the Wings. There's a bit of the music where it goes. I'm not doing the rest. And I think I've heard that music before. And it's in Live and Let Blood and Die, the Bond film. Which is funny enough, come out the same year when Bruce Sladley passed away. And he's listening to it, and it's supposed to inspire him to do the film Dame of Death. And he's phoning up what I'm assuming is the manager from Golden Harvest, from Raymond Chow. He says, I've just come up with an idea, my next film. What is it? Dame of Death. Which is funny, because they was working on Dame of Death, as we know, in 72. But I think it was looking for the name of the film. So it shows that. It shows him saying, oh, I've got headaches, which is just so him having headaches when he's doing weightlifting in his gym. It shows him lying down. It shows a bit again where the opening, where he died. I didn't really need to see that. I thought that was a bit poor taste. But then it shows these different theories, like, did he fake his death? Which we all know is Macarona, like Elvis has faked his death over the days. He's now working in Burger King, eating Big Macs. But at the end of the day, right, it shows one where he's outside and he gets battered and he gets stabbed. And it's like, do you believe that? Bruce Lee, come on. And then it goes one where he goes to his old master, his teacher, and he says that your life's going to be threatened and you best fake your own death and go in hiding and come back in 1983. You know what I mean? 10 years after his death. And so there was all these different theories, and whether it was happening in real life, it was just to hype the film up, it's a different story. I do know there was different theories when he died, because a lot of people didn't want to believe that our man, the real Bruce Lee, had passed away. But, you know, realistically he did, and it's sad. And there'll never, in my eyes, there'll never be another Bruce Lee. You know what I mean? There'll never be one. But saying that, I don't actually mind Bruce Lee's performance. I think he does a really good imitation of Bruce Lee. And I'll say it again, it was bloody surprising how much he imitated him. There's bits where he's doing these reed exercises, there's a bit where he's pulling this rope, there's a bit where he's hitting this light bulb, and the light up and go beep, beep every time he hits one. You know what I mean? It's a cheap budget film. It's nothing to run home and get yay about. It's badly dubbed. The picture quality isn't the best. But saying that, for what it is, if you like martial arts and you like Bruce Lee presentations films, it's a good hour off your time. It's a good hour off your time, and it's a hell of a lot better than Fist of Fury 2. The only bits I didn't like I said, was the opening. I thought it was a bit poor taste, so we know how Bruce Lee died. Didn't like the ending bit where it shows it again. There's a bit where they do show his Dave Stone, the real Bruce Lee's, that is. But I felt Bruce Lee did it pretty good. He really did. It was, like I say, it was bloody surprising how much he really looked like Bruce Lee. Really is. And you know what I mean, I really like it. I thought it was a good film. It was a good story. It was good. So for that, I'll give it a 3-star rating. Because I liked it. You know, shot in 1976. It's a biography. It's a sort of a true story. Some of it is Mickey Mouse just to hype the film up. But if you like fighting, you like martial arts, it's a good hour off your time. That is The Man, the Myth, back in 76. Say it again. 3-star rating. It's a good one. Until then, I'll see you soon.